So I had gotten pregnant when I was 15. Um,
Okay.
I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of knew like from the beginning
Hmm.
that I was like, yeah, like I don't know. I didn't know for sure. I never tested. I never took a test, but like I just knew I was. It was definitely unplanned. It wasn't planned
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
But I knew that I was, and then I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't tell anyone, not because I was like ashamed, but because like it never hit me. Like the reality of it never really hit me. So
Hmm.
I was just going on about like my daily life, like like I was going to school, like doing my normal routine, and yeah, I didn't even tell like my daughter's dad until I was like 6 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, he would see me and all the time, but like he just never knew, and I never told him until like one day I was like at school and I was like, dang, I should probably tell him now. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I got like 3 months left. Like tell somebody. So like I don't know, I kind of like told him. I
It
called him.
wasn't it wasn't obvious, I guess, as far as your stomach. Eating.
No, I wasn't I didn't show until I was my last month. Like
Oh, okay.
you couldn't really tell. So like it was kind of like easy to hide.
Yeah.
I kind of just wore like my normal sweaters, like my big sweater. It's still like the same. So nobody
The big poly sweaters.
like nobody knew, So it was just like, And so yeah, like I ended up telling him one day, and
What
he was
was his reaction?
we were like both young, so
Yeah.
he was just like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And then he was
Yeah.
like, "Did you?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "No." And then he was like, "Well, then how do you know?" And I was like, "I don't know. I can just tell, like, my
Yeah.
body." And
Yeah.
then he was just like, "Okay, well, like I'm gonna be here. Like I'm not going anywhere. Like we'll take a test just to confirm it." And I was just like, "Okay, like whatever. Like I don't care."
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
at the time, like it still didn't hit me. I was just like, whatever. Like
Yeah.
do what you want to do. Like I'll go along with it. But it was like crazy though, because like throughout the whole time, like I when I me not telling anybody, my mom had asked me like multiple times,
Yeah.
and I would just like tell her like no, like no,
Wait, she asked you if you were pregnant?
yeah, like it wasn't like asking me if I was pregnant. She was just like, she was just like, Tasha, like, have you been like sleeping with him? And like, I would just be like, sleeping in like the same bed as him. And I was like, no, like,
Oh, I mean, she knew you guys were dating. You guys were dating, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So she knew we were dating, and I told her, I was like, no, I'm not doing any of that. Like, I know better.
Yeah. Yeah.
like I'm not stupid, but like, I really, but yeah, no, I just remember my mom asking me like so many times, like out of just nowhere, and I just be like, no. And then he like asked me one morning when I was getting ready for school. It was like literally like 2 weeks after I had told like my daughter's dad like
Yeah.
that. Like 2 weeks after that, like I was getting ready to like leave for school one morning, and I remember I was like about to walk out the house, and then she asked me, she was like, Tasha, are you pregnant? And like I just remember like I didn't say anything. Like I just grabbed my bag because like I just immediately started crying, and
Yeah.
I just walked out my house. I was like, no, like I
Uh,
can't, like I couldn't face her, like because I felt like really bad. Like I felt so guilty. I like it was like me disappointing her that like hurt me.
yeah.
It wasn't like the fact that I was pregnant. It was just the fact of like I knew that she wanted me to do better,
Hmm.
and yet still like felt like I was disappointing her. And so I just like walked out my house and I left, and I was just like, all right. I just like cried my whole way to school.
Yeah.
Um,
And she knew from that moment that she already knew you were
I
pregnant.
confirmation. Like I think my mom honestly knew like the whole entire time.
Yeah.
Like which is like crazy because I like, like I didn't say anything. Like you couldn't really tell. but you know, mother's instincts, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
she found out, and then everyone in my family had found out, like
yeah,
2 years. Like I had told my daughter's dad, and that's kind of when my life just started like going crazy.
yeah,
Cause I had like stopped going to church. I stopped, you know, going around my family just because when they found out, like, I love my family and I know that they love me and like they love my daughter, but you know, at the same time, I was only 15, so of
yeah,
course, they could say about it, and it just like it hurt because it was like all I kept hearing was like, "Oh, like she's so stupid. Like, why would she do that? Like, you
yeah,
know." And then it was like, she's never gonna graduate. Like, she's not
yeah,
gonna do anything with her life. Like,
yeah,
it was just all negative things. And like, I don't know. I was really hurt by it because I was like, dang, like that's crazy. Like, you know, like I get it. Like what I did, like I shouldn't have done, but like it's already too late for that. So I was
yeah,
like, and like, I knew I stopped going to church because I knew that, you know, like if my family's saying things about me, like of course I know church people are saying things. So they judgmental as hell. Like
yeah.
for real, like even like you could just be at church like sitting next to a dude and it's like, oh, she's been cheeky to him, and it's like, but can we sit in sacrament together? Like, is that okay with you? I don't even know his name. You know, it was just like, but it was like, especially like my family, like the girls in my family, like we we just always got in trouble at church, and we were like the bad ones, I guess you can say.
the,
So,
the,
you know, like me getting pregnant was just like, you
the
know,
girl.
like it wasn't a surprise. Then it was like, oh well, like you know, she's part of that family. Like,
Oh,
I mean,
gotcha.
they family. It wasn't like my family. It was just like, you know, like you can just tell because they don't ever listen. They don't ever do anything like for like, you know, they don't come to like seminary. They don't do like abide by the church rules and okay, like, I'm not going.
So you guys became like the examples they use not to
Yeah,
avoid. Don't be
girls,
like her, girls at
like
church. Don't be like.
the, the girls in my family definitely became the example. And it didn't even start with me. It was like my older cousins and my sisters. Like they were bad as hell. So like they assumed I would be bad as hell, and I
Yeah.
was, but I'm not them. But then you know, I turned around and ended up like, yeah, becoming an example myself. So it was like, but no, I don't know, like I go to church. I like heard, you know, like the rumors got back to me about like what everyone was saying, and like I was just like, dang, like it hurt mostly because like, you know, like the church people, it was like whatever, like boy, like yo, go check your kids before you try to check me, you know, like
Yeah.
I like with the church people, it didn't really like hurt me as much because I was like, you know, you guys don't even know what your own kids do in the dark, like so
Yeah. Yeah.
don't come for me for my situation being brought to light.
Yeah.
But or coming from my family, honestly, like just hearing all the things that they said, um, you know, like I like I knew it was coming, but like I guess I still wasn't prepared to really hear it. I
Yeah.
actually I stopped going around my family.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't want anything to like do with them, and like in my head, I was like, you know, like man, like if they're gonna say all this, like I don't want them in my life, like I don't want them around my kid, you know. Me and my sister had actually stopped talking when she found out I was pregnant. Like
Why?
she hated me.
Oh.
She definitely hated me. We definitely didn't talk literally for 2 years.
Why she hate you?
Um, I think that for my sister, it was more like not because I was pregnant, but
Yeah.
because
Say that again. I'm sorry. Say that again.
I think it's like because I didn't tell her that I was
Oh,
pregnant.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Which I understand, but like I don't know. Like I tried to like tell her when we did start talking, it was like you have to understand. Like I was 15. Like
Yeah.
you know, like I didn't like I didn't even tell her own mom. Like she figured it out on her own. You know, like and so like she was like really mad at me. She like hated me. She hated my daughter's dad even more. Like like it was just so awkward, you know, like we'd be living in the same house and like we'd be in the like kitchen just acting like the other person isn't there. So it was
what
definitely weird.
what was like the most hurtful like comment that you heard that really out of all the comments?
Um I think like, you know, like aside from like them saying like I wouldn't amount to be any like to being anything in my life
Yeah.
and like I think the most hurtful thing that I've ever like heard someone say to me was like that I was a bad mom, that I would be a bad mom.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, that honestly like it hurt and I like hella cried about it like so many times like I don't know cuz I was just like, you know, I was like you guys have like no faith in me like you know, how can you say that? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, it was just like hurtful and so I kind of just stopped going around my family cuz it was just like so much and then he was like, you know, like oh like such a little kakaliki Paumaku ass like, you know, it's like okay, like ditto. I was like, I don't know what they wanted me to say, so I just stopped going around. But yeah, it definitely was like a lot of like, oh, like you brought so much shame to our family, like your disgrace, and I was just like, wow. But I think one thing that really like helped me get through all that was because I got lectured by everybody in my family, like all the grown-ups, like I was lectured. I remember, I think it was like Easter. No, it wasn't Easter. My brother had oh, okay. My brother had gotten released and we were going to my aunt's house for their barbecue.
Hmm.
And I was like 7, 8 at the time. And
Hmm.
so, you know, I was like, okay. I was scared because I was like, my brother's about to beat my ass. Like, got out of jail. He's gonna go right back in for killing me.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I was definitely scared. I wasn't prepared for my uncle to be there.
Yeah.
I just remember like I knew the lecture was coming because like I had gotten it from like my aunt, you know, my cousins, like all the adults. I was like, I tried my whole pregnancy to avoid my uncle, and that day I feel like they set me up because they took they took me there, and you know he was there, and I just remember I tried so hard to avoid staying outside with him by myself.
Yeah.
I was like, he was like my strict uncle growing up, you know, like my strict uncle. So I was like, oh my gosh, like he's gonna slap the shit out of me. Like he finna, you know, I may be pregnant, but my face ain't pregnant. Like I was just like, I was so scared. And I just remember like my mom and my aunt, who was like my second mom, they were inside the house and like I just kept following my mom everywhere. And she was, what are you doing? Like, go sit down outside. And I was like, no, because uncle is going to talk to me and he's going to lecture me. And I don't want to be lectured. You know, like I'm tired of being lectured.
Yeah.
After so many people, I'm tired. And so like, I don't know, like I went out and like my mom was like, okay, go take this out. I'm coming. Like, I'll be out in a minute. And I was like, okay, cool. So I walked out and like right there, my uncle was like, Tasha, come here. And I was like, fuck. My he's sitting like, you know, in the backyard in a circle with like my brother who had just gotten out, like my other cousins, and I was like, oh my gosh, like he about to beat me up in front of everybody. Like, oh hell no. So and like I already felt myself tearing up. I was already tearing up. And so I was like, damn, like God, like, please help me, like save me, please. Like I don't want to die today. But no, like he like lectured me, you know. Even my brother was like, yeah, when I found out you was pregnant and I was in the pen, like I was ready to whoop your ass when I got out. And I was like, well, like, you can't do that, but okay. Nah, like I just got lectured. My mom ended up coming out and I think like it was when my mom had came out and sat down and like I just started crying. Like I just started rolling like bonkers. And then like, you know, he was just lecturing me, you know, saying what any typical uncle or aunt, let's say, in the situation. And after that, like I kind of just like went inside the house and like locked myself in the room and went to bed. I was like, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep. So like I just nap. But I think for me, like throughout like all the lectures, all the room, all the like, you know, shame that everyone kept saying I brought to our family, like what really held me together was my mom. Because like out of everybody that lectured me, my mom was the only person who didn't lecture me. And
Yeah.
I was okay, so like if my mama, the only person who should lecture me, didn't lecture me, like why is everybody else lecturing me? You know, like I just felt like I didn't care what anyone else had to say.
Yeah.
Like I didn't care. Like if my mom didn't lecture me, I didn't. And so that's kind of like what helped me through all the rumors. I mean, I know my mom was hurt, but she honestly was like really supportive. She definitely reacted in a way that I didn't think she was gonna react. Like
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna like disown me, like get out, like pack your stuff, get out my house, you know, for real. But like, nah, she was like definitely my support system through everything. So it definitely made me get through all the rumors, everything that was going on around me.